doing? Justin here. Today we're checking out Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. This is a really cool, fun tune to play, this one. It's got a great riff in it. Now, of course, the original riff was played by Brian Jones on a sitar, but we're not doing a sitar lesson today, and what I'm going to show you is the way that Keith Richards plays it now. If you go to see him live at a gig, this is the way that Keith usually plays it, or near enough to the way he plays it. It's pretty accurate. Now, the original recording is in a funny kind of a pitch, right? So if you wanted to play along with the original recording, you'd need to put a capo on the 2nd fret and tune your guitar up a little bit. It's not exactly on the 2nd fret, somewhere in between. Maybe the tape speed was different, I'm not exactly sure, but that's if you wanted to play along with the record, you'd have to do that. So let's get to a close-up. I'm going to show you the riff first, and then we'll talk about the chords and the different approaches to strumming it. So to start this riff, we're going to put down a D minor open chord. Okay, not using your little finger. We're going to need that for a riff in a second. And we're going to learn that little melody first of all. So we'd play the 2nd string, which has got the 3rd finger on it at the moment, at the 3rd fret. Lift off your 1st finger and play the open thinner string. Put your 1st finger back down, in the 1st fret that is. Little finger will go down in the 3rd fret, thinner string. Lift it off. We're back to the 1st fret of the 1st string. Lift off 1st finger, open. And then we play the 2nd string again. So we end up with this little melody. Just kind of playing up and down the scale, really. D, E, F, G, F, E, D. And to make it get the riff right, we're going to put this open 4th string, the D string, in between. We'll actually start with that as well. Then we... See the way that's working? So the open string, then the melody, back to the open string. I nearly always use a down on the open string and an up for the other notes. You could do it the other way around if you like. So that first half of the riff is all based around this D minor chord. If you were playing rhythm guitar, you'd play a D minor through that whole section. The second half of the riff is based around an A chord, an A major chord that is. So we don't actually have to move much from the actual riff, but I want you to know that the harmony is kind of moving to the A chord. Where the first half was this, second half is this. So we've got this melody. Okay, so 3rd finger going in the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, it slides back to the 2nd fret, back to the 3rd string, open 1st string, back to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then back. So 3rd finger's got a bit of work to do here. Okay, and the pedal tone this time, the note we keep coming back to is here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Okay, this is the whole kind of riff. It's a little bit shorter in the intro, I'll show you that in a sec. But make sure you get this. Okay, that's the second half of the riff. Now if we put those two bits together, one more time. Tricky bit's often in the transition. Here, make sure you hit the open D, and then you hit that D melody note again, and then the different pedal. I mean, I'm pretty sure Keith's not that accurate with it. But that's how it should kind of go, really. That would be the main riff. Just be aware of your picking here. We're going to be playing down picks on the bass note and ups on the melody all the way through. Okay, and I should mention as well, right in the intro, it finishes here. It doesn't go. Doesn't do that last couple of notes. Now it does this, which is open B string, hammer the second finger in the second fret of the second string, the third finger in the third fret of the second string, and then play the open E string. Want to let them ring together nice as well. Then pick here on the second string with the third fret with the third finger. So the third finger in the third fret of the second string flicks off to the second finger in the second fret, flicks off to the open, and hammers back down in the second fret of the second string. I think, actually I'm picking that last note, and I'm letting the open E string ring out as well. Yeah, it's definitely it. So the intro. Don't be too bothered about notes ringing together in this riff as well. It kind of adds to a little bit of the effect of it, you know, which is totally fine. So now on the original recording, you've got this little pattern going here on the D minor on an acoustic guitar, okay? Down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, up, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm muting here on beats 2, 3 and 4 with the outside of my hand. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that would move to an A chord. All for the vocals. I see a red door and I want it painted black. Nothing anymore, I want them to turn black. Okay, that would be the rhythm guitar part going on behind the riff. But of course the riff, no more will my green sea go turn a deeper blue. Okay, so the riff is actually going underneath the vocal as well for the verses. So there's those two parts. The acoustic guitar playing D minor to A, and the other one doing the little melody riff. And to the rest of the song, we've got a really nice part for the chorus. We've got D minor, C, F, C, and 2 bars of D minor. Often you get that little riff in there, or some variation of that. If any of you didn't know, the D minor chord takes sus chords as well, just like with D major. Those kind of licks where you put the little finger down for the sus 4, lift off the second finger for sus 2, works just the same with D minor. D minor, D sus 4, D minor, D sus 2. So it's really nice there. Okay, so D minor, C, F, C, D minor, D minor, C, F, C, G, to A. Use a little bar there, but you could use your regular A as well if you want. So that sequence again, D minor, C, F, C, D minor for 2 bars. If you want to put in a, you can. D minor, C, F, C, G, to A. The only thing, of course, that I often play the F like that, using my thumb to play the bass note. My third finger is playing both the 5th and the 4th string. It's a little bit tricky, but for me it's kind of nice to... And of course, if you want to have a listen to that rhythm, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So it's got a real heavy accent on the 2 and the 3. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's not really exactly set there, but you really want to think about the 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a real heavy accent on that 2 and 3, and it kind of drives it real nice. Just a couple of little notes on this tune that you might find interesting. First of all, I very often see the riff taught using an open E string like this. Which sounds pretty sitar-y, and it's kind of cool to do it that way, and it's actually very close to the original pitch if you do it that way. The problem with doing it that way is then you have to change the chords and do it without a capo, because you're using the open string, you can't be having a capo on, so you'd need to be changing the chords to the main chord. Instead of D minor would be E minor. So basically you've got to tune all of those chords that you'd be playing up a tone. That's how you have to think of it. So whereas I've been teaching you D minor, you would then play E minor. If I showed you a C chord, then it should be a D chord. Every single chord would be up one tone. And if you do that in open position, it'll sound like the same pitch as the original recording. Okay, so that's a kind of a useful thing to be able to play. I mean, more or less, because the original recording's a little bit wonky, the pitch, but that would be more or less the same as the original recording to do it that way. It's not, like I said, it's not how the Stones do it now, but it's worth exploring that way as well if you fancy playing along with the record, or the singer in your band really likes that key, the same key as the original recording. Mick Jagger seems to sing it this one tone lower these days, and it seems to work for him pretty good now. Maybe it's as you get older, your voice gets lower as well. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is a great fun tune. I was playing this as a teenager in bands. It's just a great, it's got a lot of energy when you're playing it, you know, in a group, and it's not particularly difficult. Like, have a good listen to the accents as well, because those accents in the chorus are a pretty big part of it. If you're playing in a whole band and everyone picks up on it, it sounds really sweet. So anyway, enjoy this lesson. I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye bye.